So you want to go from this big heavy chunk of metal to this nice lightweight tubular trans cross member. Stay tuned to the video and I'm gonna show you how we make it. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started on fabricating on the truck. Been doing a lot of fabricating lately, as you see there. Got freshly installed C-notch. If you didn't see that video, that was the last video I did. You can catch it right up here in the top corner. I put a link to it and you can go watch the install of the C-notch. But let's go on ahead, lay underneath the truck and see what we got to work with, get the stock cross member out, and see what all we need to do to clearance for running a new cross member. Passenger side is going to be pretty easy because it's pretty open right there, so we'll unbolt this one. I'll probably take some of that 1/4 inch steel plate, make me a piece of angle iron out of it here, and then I can weld tubing going across that way pretty well straight. It looks like it's plenty of room to go ahead underneath there and do the 2 pieces of 1/4 inch angle iron and run it just straight there. So looks pretty simple, like I can just run across there to over there and then weld this mount on top of it. So shouldn't be too bad. So let's go ahead and get this stock cross member out. Alright guys, as always, if you could just go right down here, hit the like button or whatever, help push this video out to more people, get more people on the team. Also go down in the description, check out the merch store, and pick you up some Frost Garage gear to help support the channel. Before we get into it, let's just go ahead and shake the magic 8 ball and see how easy this is going to go for me today. So, is this going to go easy for me today? Oh, well, that's good. Positively. So, hopefully, not too much trouble since the magic 8 ball. Let's get to it. So that's the old cross member out. It's basically just the 2500 HD cross member that I got from the Silverado that I pulled the 4L80 and 6.0 out of, because this one just bolts to the bottom of the frame. So this is what I was using before, and this thing is chunky. So throw it on the scale, and you see there, she comes out there about 28 pounds. So I think my objective is probably going to use this 1.25 inch 1/8 inch wall, so very stout. May even go and use this a little bit smaller tube. And I think I can make one for about 5 to 7 pounds. So, okay, so I also got this 1/4 inch plate that's left over that I trimmed off that C-notch kit, and it's got the holes already drilled pretty much where they need to go right here. So we're going to lay underneath there. I'm gonna get this in place, cut it, trim it, make it into a piece of angle iron or whatever that I can weld the tubing to, and then from there we can measure out the tubing and weld the tubing in place with a couple tacks. Alright, so as you see, I got it mounted to the bottom of the frame with the holes that was already there. So now I'm gonna mark across the top where I need to cut this bracket, and we can pull it back off. Alright, so as you see, I got it in place. I got my little magnet kind of just holding it up where it needs to go. I'm also stripped it all down with a flat disc to bare metal just for welding. For the time being, I'm just going to put a couple tacks in each corner just to hold everything in place. And then once I got everything in, the bar and the other side done and all, then I'll go back and fully weld it. But for now, just a few tacks, just to hold everything in place until everything's set. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and do the same on the other side and get that set, and then I'll be back with you when we're ready to go ahead and measure up the bar and put the bar in. All right, so now I got brackets done on both sides. So what I'm gonna quickly do, I'm gonna get a measurement between the two frame rails and see how wide our bar is gonna need to be. 38 1/4 is gonna be the width I need. So we'll cut a piece of the tubing that's 38 1/4 long and start from there. I'll probably cut it at 1/8 inch longer than my measurement just so I can make sure, and then I can trim it back with the grinder for a snug fit. So let's cut the tubing. Almost got a bar to the face. So now I got the tubing all cut, fitted and placed where I want it to be. So I just hit the ends with a flat disc to get it to a snug fit where it holds itself. Put a couple tacks just to hold it in place. So we'll go ahead and throw those tacks on real quick so to stay. All right, so now it should stay in place. Now we're gonna go ahead and start working on from the bar to the mount. A piece of 1/8 inch plate, 6x6. I got 2 holes for the mounts drilled. We're gonna place it up here. Okay, so now it's mounted. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut another 1/8 inch piece of flat bar to basically nose up to around there. And then we'll tack those in place. And then from there, we can actually pull the whole bar off, make our bracing on the sides, and start working our way from there. Alright, so I got my magnet holding it to the crossbar, and I got it butted up against the plate on the transmission. So let's go ahead and put a couple tacks to hold everything in place. Alright, so now all that's put together, I can take the bolts out. We can actually take the whole thing out now, and we can do the rest out from underneath the truck. Alright, so now we're done underneath the truck for now. We got everything pretty well tacked in place. Now I gotta add the side bracing and stuff. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead, kind of trace out what I need on this piece of cardboard. Then I'll mark it onto a piece of metal to get me close. Then I can finish up with the grinder shaping it. Okay, so this is the shape I've pretty much come up with. So I'm gonna trace this onto another piece of 1/8 inch flat bar. Took that stencil I made out of cardboard, I transferred it over to an 1/8 inch sheet metal again, and again just used a grinder with a cutting wheel, so no special tools, and that's what I got. So let's go ahead and make one more just like it. So I got both of these made, the other one's on the table. I'm gonna just stick it in place where it needs to go, hold it with my magnet on the back. All right, so about right there. Now we're gonna grab the welder and weld it in place. All right, we got those all tacked in place. Now the last thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut off this excess that's hanging off the back, and I'm gonna use a piece of it to box it in the front here. That way we have a strong piece going across the front, and that pretty much wrap it up. So let's go ahead and take a cutting wheel and I'll cut that off. Okay, so this is pretty well the finished product. Other than going back and fully welding it, I'm gonna do one more test fit with it before I fully weld it. So nice thing about this is it bolts underneath the frame rail, so if I ever need to shim the transmission down for pinion angle or something, I can add shims between this. If I ever need to move the transmission up, I can put shims on the top side and move the transmission up, so I can adjust up and down on my back of my transmission to help with pinion angle or any driveline issues in the future. So that is a nice feature of this. But as you see, we got it boxed in the back, closed in on the sides. We got this front bar going across. You can go up in there, get to the bolt. It's easy because it's just a headed round tubing. Got the 1¼ inch 8th wall tubing with 1/4 inch mounting plates on each side. So let's go ahead and just get a quick weight on it. We know that the other one was about 28, 29 pounds. And we're at 9.4 pounds on this one. So we cut down basically 20 pounds on the trans cross member. Let's go on ahead and get it mounted back under there for the test fit. And then I'll go ahead and get it fully welded up, cleaned up, and then ready for paint. She's all bolted in. Everything lines up good. Fits right in place. You got easy access to your bottom bolts right there for your trans mount. So let's go ahead and take it back off. Now that we know it all fits well, I don't have to change nothing, and we'll fully weld it. Okay, so we got it all done, all welded together. I ground the whole thing down to get all that coating and everything off. So as you see, smoothed out all the welds to make it look nice. Obviously I couldn't get inside there, but welds in there ain't the prettiest. But it's functional, so everything's smooth out and looking good. I almost want to just slap clear on it and keep it looking like that. But let's go ahead and slap some black paint on it and we'll be good to go. So the paint's all dry. It's the next day, obviously. So we're gonna go ahead and get her slapped under the truck. You still can see a little bit in the paint. You might not be able to tell on camera, like the ground marks and stuff. If I really wanted like a super smooth finish, I could like hit it with some filler primer and went back and sanded a bunch of it and then painted it after the primer. But again, it's just a trans cross member underneath the truck. I don't need it to be mirror finish. So let's go on ahead, slide underneath the truck and slap it under there.
And that's her all in. As you see, I got plenty of room above the exhaust and have clearance off the bottom rail, so there's plenty of exhaust clearance for later on to redo the exhaust. As well on this side, there's tons of room to fit an exhaust tube through there. Like I said, I need to clean some of this oil and stuff up. This collected over here over time. But yeah, it's a lot nicer, more open, cleaner area, and plus dropped a little weight.
Okay guys, so that's gonna wrap up this tubular trans cross member and how to make one. We already did some other things too while we was in the process of making that. So I made basically another tubular cross member there because I took all the spare tire stuff out and I wanted some bracing between the leaf spring shackles. So since I took the reese off, I added that crossbar in there. Of course, you've seen in the other video, we did the C-notch. So I still need to get this frame coated and everything, but I got a race tomorrow and Saturday. So stay tuned for video probably on that. I'm gonna just throw the bed on it for now, race the 2 days, and then probably take the bed and everything back off in the shop here Sunday, and then try to finish the rest of this up. So guys, if you could, just go down below, hit the like, subscribe, support the channel, and thank you guys for watching.